The world is going to kick you in the face. It doesn't care about your feelings, your emotions, your dreams. It doesn't care that you think it's just not there. Despite all that, you can be happy and build a good life if you take responsibility for your actions and accountability for the things that happen in your life. This is what I started to tell my daughters as soon as they were old enough to comprehend. I just didn't want them to grow up to be little whiny kids that become whiny adults. I know it seems a little bit heavy, but I promise I shared it in a lot more gentler, easygoing language. However, this was one of the core foundational beliefs that I wanted to brainwash my children with at a very, very young age. This is what we're talking about in today's video. Let's go. Hey, beautiful people. My name is TV, as in television, and on this channel, we focus on the intersection of personal development and parenting. I discovered that by improving myself from the inside out, I was able to become a better human being, a better partner, and a better father. If that's of interest to you, continue watching, but also hit that subscribe button so you can be notified when I post new videos and to feed the YouTube algorithm. So here's the deal. I have two daughters. They were 5 and 3 when I divorced. And I knew they had the cards stacked against them in many ways because they were females. They were going to have a lot of things that they were going to fight and combat throughout their lives. I always wanted my daughters to know that no matter what, they had power and they had control over their lives. Obviously, they can't control people and they can't control the world, but there are things that they have power over, and that's themselves and their reactions. So I put down 5 ground rules to ensure that the programming worked as it was supposed to. Those ground rules are no whining, no complaining, no blaming, no excuse making, no poor me, the world is against me, I'm a victim mentality. Quick disclaimer, I do encourage them to rant and unload and cuss. That's a topic for another video. But once that's done, the work begins, and I want them to start figuring out a solution. I know this sounds like a wish list and difficult to do. It was in some sense, but it just required consistency, encouragement. Essentially, I asked them to have ultimate accountability and responsibility for everything in their lives. Jocko Willink has a great book called Extreme Ownership that came out years later. It lays out the exact same premise from a military perspective because when in war, nobody has time for excuse making, blaming, whining, complaining. Although that seems obvious at the military level, that's still true in day-to-day lives. The way I look at it is that a problem happens or you find yourself in a situation, it's a result or the output of a handful of different decisions you made before that. So I always insisted that they look at the problem and figure out what they can do to improve it. Don't sit there and just blame the other person, don't blame the teacher, don't blame your friends. What did you do? What was your role? Even in situations where they obviously didn't create the problem, but they found themselves in, I would always encourage them to take ownership and figure out what they can do to make it better. Maybe they couldn't control the circumstances that they found themselves in, but they still had power. They just had to pick up the pieces and then plan a new strategy. Very much like in chess. We used to play chess a lot when they were younger. I posted a video recently about the benefits of playing chess. You can find a link up here and in the description. What chess teacher is able to teach you is that you may end up losing some of your most valuable pieces, or you may have your entire strategy blow up in your face, but that's not the end of the game. I always wanted them to think about that when they're living life, that they still have options, they still have power. How they react in those instances is key. Do they sit around and mope, or they just pick up the pieces and then they plan a new strategy and move forward? That right there is what I wanted them to walk away with, and something that I knew would serve them for the rest of their lives. So the bigger question probably remains in your mind. How did I do it? How was I able to get them to do it? What it comes down to is us as parents actually modeling this behavior, not being excuse makers, not being whiny, not complaining when things aren't going your way. They're watching us to learn how to engage in the world, how to be in a relationship, how to argue, how to negotiate, how to love. So if you and I as parents aren't doing that job well and modeling it, well, they're not gonna do it, right? To me, it's one of the craziest things in the world to expect a child to act differently than the parent. Yes, we want them to do better, but we also have to be better. They see us as heroes. Up until a certain age, we're it. This message right here, taking ownership of your own life and your own actions for the benefit of your children is going to be a theme of this channel. Because if you're not doing it, they're not going to do it. I made it my personal mission to never whine or complain. I'm not saying that I don't get angry. I'm not saying that I don't get irritated. I just make it a point to get over it quickly and then start talking about my options and figuring out what needs to be done next. I want them to feel empowered. I want them to see what I'm asking them to do in me. So that's it. Just take responsibility and accountability for your actions and the circumstances you find yourself in, because they're going to watch and they're going to mimic that behavior. Thank you for watching this video. My name is TV. Please hit that like button. Press the subscribe button ever so gently to feed the YouTube algorithm. If you like this video and you would like to watch something else, check out that video about chess that I mentioned earlier. Until next time, and remember, becoming a better parent is easy when you improve from the inside out. Ta-ta!